Welcome back to the Coding Fanatic YouTube channel. I'm your host Richard, and here at Coding Fanatic, I'm all about helping new Android developers growing quickly. Whether you focus on learning new skills, committing to your projects, or the best ways to work with others, these are the pillars that I focused on to help me grow as a developer, and now I'm passing my lessons on to you. And if that sounds like content that you are interested in, then hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and you'll see when I upload new content like this each week. Also, head on over to the Coding Fanatic website and join the mailing list. You'll be the first to know when new content comes out before anyone else. Learning with Kotlin is a series about just that, me learning Android development with Kotlin. I go through different exercises and projects, and I show you guys my journey along the way. The last time we spoke, I showed you guys my progress with the Keep Hydrated Codingkata. Well, it's good that I approached it with a plan, but my plan had some flaws in it, and I'm just going to take a second to go through those. So the way the program works, or should work, is you prompt the user to enter how many hours Nathan has cycled, and then the program returns the amount of water that he consumes. Well, the prompt tells you that Nathan drinks half a liter of water every hour. So really you're multiplying the time by 0.5 or dividing it by 2. And then you return a full integer, whole number as your result. If there's any decimal, there's no rounding, technically you're rounding it down, but you cut the decimal off and that's it. Now, I may have had a bit of a long-winded approach last time, but I've since revised my plan and I've gone through it and made it much simpler than before. So the first thing that we want to do is the same as before. You still want to prompt for time. You want the user to enter the amount of hours that Nathan has cycled, obviously. The next step, again, is just to take that number and multiply it by 0.5 or divide by 2. This will give you the decimal amount, and then you remove the decimal at the end, right? Now, it might sound very simple, but the code that went into this getting it was far from it. My initial approach for this was more long-winded. I wanted to figure out how to tell if the number was even or odd, and then use that as a means to determine how much water Nathan drank. But in reality, you take the number of hours, multiply it by 0.5, and then remove the decimal. That's it. You just round it down. So I went back through and I did that this time around. So the logic was simple. I didn't really follow the directions last time. That's how I ended up with that whole odds and evens thing. But after some careful review, also known as reading the instructions, I figured out what to do. So now that I have a process in place, the next step was to actually code it. Now, it might be very simple and my code here might be short, but getting this was not easy. It took a lot of research. Now, the first thing was to import the Java utility, the scanner class from Java. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this supposed to be a Kotlin tutorial or a Kotlin exercise? Why do you need to import any Java anything? Well, because this program right now is just a terminal-based program, I want it to work on a command line. So first I need to obtain user input. Now, last time I pointed out that you can use the read line method in order to obtain user input, but because we're obtaining a string that is we're trying to get a number value, right? So we want the user to enter a decimal or an integer. Now, read line works when you want a string. So if I were to ask you to enter your name or a sentence or something like that, it'd be more useful. Anything to do with mathematical, like any arithmetic operations or anything, you'd have to do a lot of conversions, and that can get pretty messy. So I decided, or I didn't decide on this. I actually, through my research, found an easier method would be to create a scanner object and use the scanner class in order to pull the exact input that I need from the command line. But you don't have to take my word for it. Let's take a look at our example. All right, so here in our project, you can see that we have the scanner class imported at the top. So you import java.util.scanner, same as you would in a Java program. I created a variable called reader, which would be used to obtain that input from the command line. So I set it to val reader equals scanner, and then I passed it system.in. This is no different from in Java where you create a scanner object. It's the same thing. The syntax is a little different, but I still created an object that I would use to read input from the command line. And then here on the next line, we say that val hours cycled :double. So this implies that hour cycle will be a double. And then you use reader.next double, which will take the next double typed in on the command line and read that into your scanner object, and then use that to get a double that would be assigned to hour cycled. So it's, again, not that different from Java. If you have experience with it, you are a little familiar with this. It's just the syntax is a little different. After that, we have water consumed is equal to hour cycle times 0.5 .toInt. Now, like I said last week, toInt is what's used to get rid of the decimal. So you're taking the number of hours input by the user, multiplying it by 0.5 or dividing by 2, and then you get rid of the decimal. It's as simple as that. And if you look at the command line, then you will see that our results show for all the examples given. So if you enter 3 hours, then you get 1 liter. If you enter 6.7, you get 3, and 11.8 will give you 5 liters. Overall, this was a pretty straightforward challenge. It was just figuring out the exact code that I needed. I mean, I went through so much trial and error, like using readline. I experimented with trying to take the input and set that to an integer, which worked. That actually did work. The problem was that if I entered a decimal, then it would throw an exception, because now the toInt method, it's only built to deal with integers. So as long as I typed a string like 3 or 6 or 11, but once I add that point anything, I was out the window. Now crashed the whole program. And you know, I want to point out too that when you're working with an actual Android application, obtaining input is a little smoother than this. There aren't as many loopholes that you have to, or there aren't as many hoops for you to jump through to try and get everything set up. It does have its own set of challenges that come with it, but you don't have to worry about creating a scanner object and reading input and then typecasting or anything like that. This is just an idea that we're representing here of, well, what if we took this coding challenge and we wanted to do it in the terminal? The website already has an IDE and has everything preset, and this is actually not even the correct solution that you would use on the website, because they typically only ask you for a few lines of code from the entire program. You don't have to build it from scratch. But I wanted to get more acclimated with Kotlin, rather than just do a coding challenge. I wanted to actually sit down and try to do something a little more challenging. And I can say that with confidence, this was pretty tough. It took a great deal of research to figure these things out. I didn't even know that you could import the scanner class in Kotlin and then use that to obtain user input. So having and I've said this before, having some background with Java makes a big difference with learning Kotlin. It's a simpler, or it's a more efficient language, but having that backbone really helps a lot. Now, I'm not recommending that you go out and go learn Java so that you can then learn Kotlin. I'm not saying that at all. But for those of you out there who have Java experience, I think you'll find that Kotlin will be a little easier for you to pick up than when you first learn Java. Put it like that. So yeah, I feel pretty good. I got this challenge knocked out. I'm gonna go and try it out on the website and see what the website's asking for, just to complete it and, you know, update my Code Wars profile just for the heck of it, right? But yeah, this was a decent challenge. I feel pretty good about it. So yeah, moving forward, I'll do more challenges like these and break down how I did it and show you guys, and give you any game that I learned along the way. That's what we do here at Coding Fanatic. Take what we learn and we teach it to you guys so that we can help the new Android developers grow quickly. So yeah, but all that being said, thank you all again for tuning in to the Coding Fanatic YouTube channel. I'm your host, Richard. If you like content like this, comment, like, subscribe, join the mailing list on codingfanatic.com, and you'll be up on it first when new things like this come out. So yeah, that being said, if you guys have any questions or anything, leave comments below, or you can message me on social media. And with all that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace. Man, I think this new hardware is pretty cool.